It was 2 winters ago when my wife Emily and I rented a cabin deep in the woods of northern Michigan. We were both exhausted from the city life, overworked, and desperate for a peaceful retreat where we could just unplug and forget about the world for a while. The cabin was isolated, exactly what we wanted. No neighbors for miles, just the two of us surrounded by thick forests and a frozen lake stretching out like an endless white desert. The air was sharp, brutally cold, but also somehow refreshing. Felt pure and quiet, almost too quiet. The owner had left a note with some general instructions, how to use the generator, where to find extra blankets, that sort of thing. But there was one line at the bottom of the note that stuck out to me. It said, "If you hear knocking at night, don't open the door, even if it sounds like someone you know." I remember laughing it off, thinking it was some kind of local folklore meant to spook the tourists. Emily thought it was dumb too. We joked about it for the rest of the evening, but deep down, I couldn't help but feel a bit uneasy, like we were being warned. The first couple of days were great. We went ice fishing, took long hikes through the snow, and spent our nights by the fireplace, drinking wine and telling silly stories. The snow had started to fall harder by the third day, but we were comfortable, safe, or so we thought. It was around 2 in the morning when the knocking started. At first, I thought I was dreaming. The soft, deliberate tapping sounded like it was coming from the front door. Emily was asleep beside me, snoring softly. I tried to ignore it, but the knocking grew louder, more insistent. And then there was a pause, followed by a muffled voice. I slipped out of bed, careful not to wake her, and crept toward the living room. The knocking continued, steady and rhythmic. I peered through the peephole but saw nothing but darkness and swirling snow. No footprints, no signs of anyone outside. I almost laughed at myself for being so paranoid. Probably just a tree branch hitting the side of the cabin, I told myself. But then it happened again, this time from the back door. A rapid series of knocks, like someone was pounding with their fists. And worse, I heard someone whispering my name. My chest tightened. I checked the locks, double and triple checking them. Everything was secure. I went back to bed, trying to convince myself it was just the wind. But Emily stirred and whispered, "Did you hear that? Someone's calling for you." The next morning, I found something that made my stomach turn. Right outside our front door, the snow was disturbed. 2 long, narrow tracks, like something heavy had been dragged from the edge of the forest to our cabin. But there were no footprints, no sign of anyone walking. Emily saw the worry on my face and tried to calm me down, but I could tell she was rattled too. We spent the rest of the day inside, doors locked, curtains drawn. Felt like we were hiding from something, from someone. That night, the knocking returned. First from the front door, then the back, then from the windows. It was everywhere, relentless. I looked at Emily, her face pale and terrified. Neither of us dared to speak. The sound was inside our heads, pounding, echoing. But the worst part? It wasn't just random knocking anymore. It was a voice, a whisper carried on the wind. "Let me in." I grabbed my phone to call the police, but there was no signal, nothing but static. We were completely cut off. The knocking continued throughout the night, always coming from different directions. Sometimes it sounded like it was right next to us. Other times it was far off, like it was trying to lure us outside. By morning, the sounds had stopped. We packed our bags and left without a word. As we drove away, I glanced in the rearview mirror, half expecting to see someone standing in the snow, watching us leave. But the cabin was empty, and yet that warning still haunts me. If you hear knocking at night, don't open the door, even if it sounds like someone you know.